Hey, I'm Todd. Thanks for choosing to watch my video, and if you would subscribe it, like it, all that stuff, that'd be great. Otherwise, enjoy the video, and I hope it gives you the information you need and is helpful to you. Take care. So I do get a lot of comments with people saying I have saved them a lot of money, and I do get questions, hey, can I send you some money somehow? And now there is a way, if you so choose, called fan funding. You'll find it on the channel page right there. 7 Suzuki Esteem, looking to do the front axle assembly. You want to take any hubcap off you got and take the lug nuts off, 19mm bolts. Break them loose a turn, left to loosen, right to tighten. So we'll break it loose a turn, and then we'll jack up the vehicle. Well, you'll jack up the vehicle, mine's up in the air. And take the tire off the rest of the way. So I'm going to take the tire off and then move on. I'm going to take this nut off right here. I'm using a 1 3/16. I'm sure it's metric, but this is fitting pretty good for me. And also, if you're doing it alone, if you got a screwdriver, you can wedge it here in the grooves of the rotor, and you can break it loose with your probably a 1/2-inch breaker bar would be best. Again, everything on this is left to loosen, right to tighten, so I'll take the nut off. I'm just going to use my gun because that's what I use. Kind of make sure it moves free. Yep, it's going to work pretty free. There's a washer on there. Don't forget that. And we'll take off the lower ball joint here. Oh, probably a 14mm nut, my guess. Yeah, probably take that out. 14mm nut and bolt. We got it loosened up. I put the nut back on a little bit, as you can see. I tap it with a hammer a couple times. A nice soft mallet hammer. Don't want to damage threads or the nut. And it'll probably pull out. Another washer. And I've got a rubber soft mallet here. You can maybe use a punch in the center to knock it out. There's the pin right there, or the bolt I should say. And then you need a pry bar to pry this out of there. Now there's a seam right here. You can probably maybe use a screwdriver or a chisel and get it in there and wedge this open just a little bit. Maybe use a little penetrating fluid lubricant in there and help separate this. As you saw, it did not want to just come loose. You can turn the wheel so it faces you, gives you a little better access. As easy as that with the right chisel and hammer. You saw I just pulled it right down, so now it's out. And pull this towards us. And pull the axle out. Then you need a pry bar to get in here. And we're going to give this a good jerk because there's a clip that holds this in place is all. Like a little friction clip set up. And you do want to have a bucket underneath here to catch any fluid that comes out because it might come out. This is a manual transmission. Could be different for automatic as far as how much fluid comes out. But I'm going to get a bucket and then we'll be prying on this right here. There we go, get some fluid coming out. So here's the clip here. You can see it's got a separation in there, it's not all the way around. So we have to push this in, the ring is going to collapse with the new one. Here's the new one. Get it out of the bag. So I like to pack some grease in here, just try and hold this clip kind of in the center so it doesn't fall too far down or up. It's something I do, don't really have to, but I think it helps to keep that thing centered till we push it in. I'm going to slide it into the transmission, then we got to kind of push it with some force to get that clip to compress so it'll slide in the rest of the way. I'm trying to get it in as straight as possible and engage it. The little splines on there. And we want to get the shaft as straight as possible too for when we're pushing it in. When I feel the teeth and the splines seem to engage, I like to use a rubber mallet and try and tap this in.
perfect for your...
So, after a few times wrestling with this, got it in. Just a few good smacks with it. Got it in because actually I ended up taking the clip off of the old one, the C-clip on here. I took the clip off there with this and put it on the other shaft because the other one was just getting beat up. And I cleaned it up and put it back on, and it was still giving me hassle. I couldn't get the CV shaft in, so took the clip off this one. Now it's slid in. Now we can just basically reverse procedure to install. Put it back together when it came off, and we'll get some torque specs for you if you're using torque wrench. Alright, so didn't have a torque spec for that. I'm sure 20 to 30 foot-pounds is just fine. Tighten it up, the nut, and then this is 129 foot-pounds. Again, you can stick this in here, stick a screwdriver something in there that'll hold it, and then you can tighten it up, 129 foot-pounds, and then stake it right there. Alright, and the lug nuts are about 62 foot-pounds. So put them on, tighten them up. We have to add a little fluid. Not the easiest place to add fluid, for sure. Maybe a little bottle, you can squeeze some in. See if we got any bottles like that over here. Not currently, but I do have some tips. Oh, like that. You'll get some tips at the hardware store or something. You can maybe do that, or get some hose and do that. We're lucky enough to have things with pumps on them, like that. So don't forget to top off your transmission fluid, probably to the bottom of the hole. So fill it till it comes out, and it's probably going to be the right amount. That would be replacing your CV axle on your 1997 and other model years Suzuki Esteem. Your 3/8 inch ratchet, stick it in the square hole here, take this out. 75W90, what the fluid for this is, 75W90, and just squeeze it in there, and it says it needs to be at the bottom of the hole, so usually just fill it until it starts running out, and then let it drip a little bit, and then put the plug in, and you'll be done topping off your fluid. As simple as that.